Hi everyone, welcome to this webinar focusing on using real-time data streaming, automating transformations and data cataloging to accelerate your analytics using the Qlik Data Integration platform. Today's webinar will be around 40 minutes. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, feel free to ask these as we go within the chat panel or the Q&A panel. Should we have any time at the end of the webinar, we'll look to answer these. Otherwise, we'll follow up on any unanswered questions after the event. Today, we'll discuss the importance of a modern integration tool, discuss how Qlik Data Integration platform will help us deliver that, and we'll also take a dive into the product and have a look at a hands-on example throughout today's session as well. My name is Andrew Dean, and I'll be delivering the event today. I'm a data analytics solution architect here at Perfect Image. I've been working at Perfect Image and with the Qlik technology platform for over 7 years. So let's dive straight into today's session. Your organization has been collecting data, and all that data you collect for your organization should be making a big impact on your organization. But unfortunately, in today's world, for many of you, there's still a big hurdle in getting insight and value from that data. With more data being collected from more sources and even quicker than ever before, and with outdated traditional integration tools being labor intensive, slowing down and even bottlenecking the process, your organization is failing to deliver analytical ready data. So how can you deliver analytical ready data to all of your business functions in real time? The answer is with Qlik, the end-to-end data integration platform, allowing you to get the insights you need in a time that matters. From raw to ready data, the Qlik Data Integration platform accelerates, streamlines, and automates your entire data pipeline. Qlik takes a modern approach to data integration with one seamless solution. The Qlik Data Integration platform generates real-time data streams at scale and, importantly, with very low impact from the original sources. Sources that range from production databases, data warehouses, SAP and mainframe systems, as well as flat files and SaaS applications as well. Qlik Data Integration platform delivers these data streams to all major target platforms. All data is then refined, merged, and enriched for your analytics or your AI and data science projects. With change data capture, Qlik replicates, commit transactional data either in bulk or via a real-time change data capture to relational databases ranging from MySQL, SQL Server, Kafka, flat files, and many more. It provides real-time data delivery to the cloud or anywhere you need updated data. Data warehouse automation lets you quickly model and deploy new data warehouses without excessive coding. Qlik delivers these data streams to modern data warehouses such as Snowflake and Azure Synapse, using automated data delivery and modeling methods to empower your reporting and analytic activities. If you want to deploy, or if you already have a data lake, then you can continuously update and refine and stream analytical ready data for analytics, AI, and machine learning, giving you a meaningful data lake on big data platforms such as Amazon EMR, Azure HD Insight, and Google Dataproc. A smart data catalog provides curated views of your data that your business can easily find, trust, and consume. With the ability to use this data in a smart data catalog, where you have an Amazon store experience, allowing your organization to get the analytical ready data they need. No other platform brings all of these critical capabilities into a complete solution. Your organization can unlock all that potential in your data from any source, driving real-time actionable insights on the very latest data, allowing you and your organization to truly lead with data. So let's take a look. Let's have a little dive into an example here. For the purposes of the example today, I've got a small little use case I just want to use as some background. So in this instance, I am a retail business. I've got a web presence. I've also got a lot of physical stores, and in them stores, we've got a lot of point of sale systems, and all of that data is centrally collected into a single database. Now, I've got some analytical need here. I want to know what's going on in them stores, what products are selling, what price promotion points I should run on these products. So I need to go and get some of that data from that operational data store where all of my EPOS data is currently being wrote to. However, that database is a critical operational database for me. All of my point of sale systems right into this database. I can't afford to add more analytical load onto this database. I just can't do it. What I don't want to do is to have my store employees trying to use their point of sale systems and have a slow experience, which again is just going to impact that customer experience. So therefore, I just can't get that data from that critical system. So using the Qlik Data Integration platform, what we're actually going to do is insert almost this middle reporting database. And what this is actually going to allow me to do is using this change data capture we mentioned earlier, in real time is actually stream across transactional level data as it happens into this secondary database. What that then means is I have this secondary database and I can do all of the analytical processing I want on this secondary database, as it's not impacting my source operational business critical system. Now, for the purposes of this demonstration, what we're going to use here is we're actually going to use an on-premise SQL database to replicate that business critical system. And what we're actually going to do, as I've already mentioned, is stream in real time that data into a Azure SQL database. So I'm actually using a cloud database there, because one of the things we want to do is increase that level of scalability we get with the cloud, and it's just allowing me to modernize this process in my analytical data pipelines as well. So let's dive straight into it. The first thing I want to show you this afternoon is just that Azure PaaS SQL database. And really what I just want to show you here is we've got a brand new database that's blank. There's nothing currently in there, and we'll return to that in a minute. So let me open up the Qlik Data Integration platform. So here you'll find us within our replicate stream. So this is where I can go and set up that real-time data pipeline where it's going to transfer that data from that business critical database into that reporting database I want. So you already see within here, I've already got some tasks set up. Actually, I'm just going to go and create a new task here. I'm going to give this a name, and I'm going to call this EPOS replicate data task. I can give this a description if I want. So I'm just going to say replicate data from on-premise SQL to Azure database. Just so when I refer back to this later, I can have a little look at what's going on. Now you can see here we've got some different settings. The main ones we want to focus on here is the task options. What do we actually want this task to do? So I wanted it to do a full load. I wanted to go and get all of the historical data, and I wanted to load that into my new database. I wanted to apply changes. So when something is updated, so whether that's a new record which is inserted, whether that's we go and update a record, we go delete a record, in that database, we want them changes to apply to our new reporting database. What I also want to turn on there is also I want to store the changes as well. So if we go and update a record, what I want my new database to do is actually to keep both versions there. I wanted to keep what the record used to look like, and I wanted to store what the record has been updated to as well. Just for governance, and I've got full traceability, and I can understand all of the changes which is going on within my data. So this is great. So let's hit OK and create this new task now. So at this point here, you can see we can drag and drop a source of an endpoint. So on the left-hand side, I've already took the liberty of setting up the connections to our databases. So you'll see here that I have a SQL EPOS system, so I can just drag and drop that within there. And you'll see that actually it picks up, this is a Microsoft SQL server. And I also then want to actually push this data into my Azure reporting database, which we can see there is a Microsoft Azure SQL database. Great. So I'm telling the system where I want to get data from and where I want to put the data. Now we can actually go and tell Qlik replicate what data we want to go and get there. So if I just go and press on table selection, let's just go and search all of our schemas within here. I'm just interested in anything which comes from the sales schema. So I can just go and bring everything across within there. And we can see we've got some different tables within here. So we've got buying groups, customer categories, the customers, orders, invoices, etc. So I'm interested in all of that data at the minute. So I can just hit OK there. So you can see at this point, it's going to go and bring across all of these selected tables. Now, if I was just to open one of these up for a minute, so let's just select on customers, we can get some more information around the customers, so we can understand any record identifiers, how big an average record size is in there. If we just have a little look at the transform, so at this point we can understand actually what data it's bringing it across, what data sizes, what data types we've got in here. We can actually go and add a column at this point. So at the point we stream the data across into this new analytical reporting database, maybe we just want to enrich the data slightly. Maybe actually what we want to do is add some calculations into this just to enrich this data a little bit. I'm not going to do anything like that at the minute, but we will come back to really enriching this data later on. At this point, we can start to filter the data. So maybe I'm only interested in data from a certain store, data for a certain product. So actually what we can say is only stream across some of the data that we might be interested in. I'm just going to keep things simple, and I'm going to just say load in all of my data. So at this point, this is great. I can go ahead and press run. So what's going to happen when I press run here is it's actually going to go and connect to that critical database, that on-premise database, and actually start to load across all of my historical data. So it's going to go and do a one-off bulk load and load in all that historical data. So what we can actually see at the bottom here is the different tables it's currently loading. So it's currently loading invoice lines. There's about 230,000 records within there. You can see I can't keep up with how quickly this is managing to copy across there. So there we go. We had 9 tables, and we can actually see they've all been copied across there. And it's actually just done about 700,000 records in 29 seconds there. Now, let me just very quickly jump back into this Azure SQL database very quickly. Let me expand tables now. What you'll actually see within there as well is we've actually gone from just a completely empty database. Qlik Data Integration has actually gone and recognized what the source tables look like, what the schemas look like. So it's actually gone and created them schemas for me and copied across the data within there, keeping all the relationships intact as well. So if we just maybe want to go and have a little look at some of this data now, just to prove it's in there, we can go and select the top 1,000 customers, and that data will slowly query and eventually appear within here. What you will also notice within here as well is it has actually created a CT table for every one of these tables as well. And this is where it's actually going to track them changes within there as well. So maybe if I was just to open up my Qlik replicate again, this time I'm going to go into change processing. So what we've just seen a great example of is being able to connect to a database and bulk load across all that historical data. Nothing too impressive so far. But actually, if I were just to open up a little bit of my little dummy point of sale screen here, this is where what I'm actually going to do is on that on-premise SQL box is I'm actually going to go and insert and modify some of the records within here. And what we'll actually see is as soon as that record is committed within that on-premise SQL box is we're going to see that actually real-time stream and update into this new Azure SQL database. So let's just go and add a new order or add a new basket. So let's just say someone's stood in my store, they've purchased something through the checkout. And actually what we can see there on the right-hand side now is we've actually inserted one record under orders, and we've also inserted one record in order lines. Great. Again, you'll notice how quickly that data has actually been replicated across there. So now I've actually got this analytical database I can go and provide real-time insights on instantly within my organization. Now, again, added one record here. Maybe let's just add a couple of records at once here. So this time you'll notice it's actually gone and added an additional 3 rows within my orders, gone and added an additional 11 lines into my orders history. And again, a little bit more data. You'll notice how quick and this real-time capability it's actually committed and inserted them rows into this secondary database. Now, great, we've inserted some rows. Maybe this time a customer's come back into my store and we've realized we've scanned the same item twice, for instance. So actually what we want to do is go back into a record, go back into a transaction, and we just want to update that basket in there as well. So if I was just to update an order at this point, now what you'll see this time is actually under the update and the delete column this time, you'll notice we've actually gone in here and we've updated one order and we've actually gone and deleted a record within here as well. Now, what's really, really key about this is if I was to jump back into my SQL database for a minute, let's go and have a look at my orders. Let's just go have a look at the data which has changed. What you'll actually notice within here is we've actually got a few different things being captured. Now, under the header operation, you'll notice the rows where we've actually inserted the data. So it's actually tracking all of the changes made to my database. So we've inserted some records. Now, what you'll actually notice here as well, we've actually updated a record. And as I mentioned earlier, you'll notice it actually captures that before image, so i.e. before we make that update. And we'll also keep a copy of that, what that record now looks like after we've updated it. Again, giving me that traceability within these databases, allowing me to understand what's changing within the databases, and again, allowing me to report upon that further down the line should I need to. Again, a few little records here. Maybe let's say we get a big rush on. We want to add lots of orders, lots of baskets this time. So actually what we're going to do is go run that here, and you'll notice, again, instantly, just to prove some of the effectiveness of speed here, we've gone and added just over 2,000 orders. We've gone and added just over 6,500 records instantly in the same second. And again, you'll notice all that data is actually being committed across and is now ready for use within this secondary analytical database. So what that does open up is that gives me a real-time replica of my key source business critical systems, and it allows me to do all of the analytical processing, all of my AI, all of my machine learning on that real-time database without affecting any of my operational activities. Now, let's maybe take this one step further. So as I said, I've replicated that data, we're good to go. We can actually take this even further at this point. So what I want to do now is maybe this data isn't quite ready for some of my analytical needs. Actually, I've got a finance user. They need to do some reporting upon invoices. I don't want to give them access to all of this data. I just want to give them a small little data mart for themselves. So what I can do, if I come across into Qlik Compose, so I've already set a connection up to a new Azure Synapse database here. So again, we're going for that cloud data warehouse. Again, whether that's Amazon Redshift, whether that's Snowflake, whatever the case may be, I've picked Azure for this instance. And we've picked up this new source database where we've just set up all of our data being real-time streamed within here. Now, the first thing we need to do is go and build a model. We need to tell Qlik Compose how all these different data tables actually talk to each other. What I can actually do, being very lazy, is I can actually just tell Qlik Compose to go and discover, go and work out what you think this should look like. So if we just go and bring in all of the tables, I'm not actually interested in some of the archive tables here, so I can just get rid of the ones I'm not interested in, bring across all of the tables we've just set up. And again, what this is actually going to do, because I like to be lazy and I like things to work very, very quickly, it's actually just gone and scanned across them entities, looked at the primary keys, looked at the foreign keys within there, and it's gone and just actually identified how this model should look for me. So you'll see there, model successfully created. So I can come out of here now. Now, if I just want to display this model, let's have a little look at how this looks. We can see here actually customers, speak to buying groups and customer categories. They have orders. Maybe we want to have a look at order lines. Well, order lines just link to orders, who link to customers, and so on. Maybe we want to have a little look at some of the information around some of the keys and actually how this data actually links together. Again, at this point, if I was to maybe, let's open up my customers, what we can start to understand here is some of the attributes. Where's this data coming from? Where we're putting this data to? Again, what some of the data types? At this point, we can start to go and enrich some of this data. So maybe I want to add a new attribute around some of my customers. So maybe we wanted to say full name. So I only have two separate fields, which is first name and last name. I don't want all of my analytical users to have to combine them two fields in whatever visualization tool they're using. So I can actually go and do that for them as well. And again, within the expressions, I can say this would be the first name plus the last name. And again, any transformations, any enrichment I want to do to my data at this point. Now, if I just quickly close out with this, so it's actually done the hard work for me here, and it's actually gone and picked up from the source system how this data originally looks. So that's great. So now we've got this model. I actually want to deploy this model to my Azure Synapse Data Warehouse. And that is as simple as one button. So if I now go hit create on this, what this is actually doing, it's taking that model, it's deploying it to that cloud data warehouse. And what's really, really great about this is you'll actually notice I can do this as a press of a button. I haven't had to go manually code this. I haven't had excessive scripts within here to go and deploy all of this. I can actually do all of this in a drag and drop and a click manner, saving me hours and hours of time to actually just get the data that I'm interested in. Now, as this just quickly runs here, now what this is actually going to do here is give us two models when we're done here. And you can see they're just slowly ticking away. It's actually going to create a data warehouse. There we go. Data warehouse tables were successfully created. And it's actually going to give me two different views of them data warehouses. It's going to create the first view, which is all my historical data I've already loaded in. And it's going to give me that second table there, that second data warehouse, which is ready for that CDC there, ready for that change data, capture data to come through. So as soon as new data is implemented, it's going through this data warehouse process as well. So that's great, and that's built in that entire model. However, I did state at the very start, I didn't want to give my finance user access to all of the data available. So at this point, what I can go and do is actually create a data mart for this finance user. So if I just go hit new, and I'm just going to call this finance data mart. At this point, I can start to understand, is this going to be a transactional level data mart I want to give them? Maybe it's just aggregated data, maybe it's data orientated. I just want to give them the transactional level data, so that's great. I can actually go and pick the fact table out of here. So I did mention earlier they wanted to do some reporting upon invoices. So I can say, actually just go bring the invoices table through. Now, what's key here is on the right-hand side is you'll notice based upon the relationships, Qlik Compose here has actually gone, you might actually be interested in these dimension tables. So obviously relating to invoices is customer information, bill to customer information, and orders. Now that's great. I'm not going to go and bring anything more in, but I could if I want, so I can go start enriching this with more dimension tables, custom dimension tables, and really start to enrich this data mart for my finance use case. As I go through this, it does ask me what my transactional date is. For this instance, it is going to be invoice date. And if I just hit finish here, there we go. My data mart is ready to be used. I can go and give my finance users access to this data mart, and they can go and consume in this smaller part of my data model, again, just with a few clicks of a button. I've not had to go through, I've not had to script this out, and there's been no coding involved with this. So it's been really, really easy to get to this point. Now, earlier on when I was mentioning the Qlik Data Integration platform, I also mentioned quite a lot that smart data catalog. So let's have a quick look at that as well. So coming into the Qlik data catalog here, as I mentioned, what you can see is almost like this Amazon store experience. We get all of our data presented to us. So we've got some information around delivery methods, some information around cities, state, payment methods. Again, a lot of information around within here. What you'll actually see from our sources, we've got data from our actual web application. We've actually got data coming from our warehouses. And again, we've got a really robust set of search features to allow our business users to actually very quickly find the data and the information they're interested in. Maybe let's have a little look let's maybe have a little look at some of the little delivery methods within there. So if I was just to press on delivery methods, this is going to open up this particular item. So here we get presented with a few different things. You'll notice under the field statistics and metadata, actually we get a little view of what fields do we have within here, what's the data types, minimum, maximum values, percentage nulls, really giving us a sense of, should I start using this data? Is this data good quality? You'll see here a number of nulls. We have no nulls within this data. We know it's a very complete data source. Again, down the right hand side here, you'll notice we've got 3 KPIs for this data source, and you'll see that our quality is 100%. So actually, Qlik Data Catalog, based upon the metrics here, I think this is a really good data quality source for us to use. What we can start to do is have a little look at some of the sample data as well. So if I just have a little look on there, you'll notice we've got some of the different delivery methods within here and some of the information about them. I can choose to export this to CSV or Excel if I just want to take this data and run and do something else with it. What we can also start to do here as well is have a look at the data lineage. So if I was to press on this, we can actually see where does this data actually come from. So you can actually see it does come from, as I mentioned, that application, that web application source. And we're currently here in our Qlik Data Catalog where the data is being managed by the catalog. What's very interesting is actually to the far right-hand side of this, you'll actually notice there it's actually being used within a QlikSense app. So actually I can start to see within my data catalog, where is this data then being used downstream as well? So should we need to make any changes to this, I can see what the impact is going to be. I can understand what business users are using this data, what are they using it for? And it's a really good way of just understanding how this data is being consumed within our organization. If I was to maybe just jump back to our catalog for a minute, and again, I'm going to go back into the delivery method, sorry. If I was just to scroll down here, what we can actually start to understand as well is, where is this data actually related as well? So within our delivery methods, we can see we have people and it's related to people. So if I was to then maybe just let's have a look at the people entity, again, we can start understanding some more information around the people data we've got brought in here. Again, the related entities, well, I can see people are related to countries, they're related to delivery methods, payments method, people again. Great, well, actually, maybe I want to do some analysis at this point on my people data. So what I can actually do is, much like my Amazon store experience here, I can press add to cart. In the top right hand corner here, you can actually see, okay, we've got one entity added, we've got some data added, let's take some action at this point. So maybe I can create a data set, I can publish the data set, I can share it. What I actually want to do is publish this to QlikSense. So as I do this, it says, do you want to create a brand new application within QlikSense? Do you want to add this data to an existing application? Let's just go create a new application for ease. So what it's actually doing at this point, I've shopped for the data I want. I've said, go create a new dashboard for me. And if I was to maybe just jump straight into my insights page here, actually, we're ready to start performing that analytical, that visual insight on the data I've just gone and shopped for there and then. Again, I've chosen to publish this into QlikSense. This can be the visualization tool of your choice, whether that's Power BI, whether that's Tableau, whatever that visualization tool is. As I said, I did just pick Qlik there. So a really quick fire of demonstration. So just to recap there from a demonstration point of view, what we did see there was we had a legacy on-premise SQL database. We chose to replicate that data in real time to an Azure SQL database for that analytical output. Again, whether that's visualization, whether that's AI, whether that's machine learning. And the key thing about this is any of that analytical overload is not impacting that key underlying business critical system. Then what we did, we used Compose to actually take that data. We modeled that and enriched that data through transformations and certain relationships, and actually combining that with additional data sources within that data warehouse. We were able to publish that model to our Azure Synapse data warehouse. Again, whether that's Google BigQuery, whether that's Amazon Redshift, whether that's Snowflake, into that data warehouse at a click of a button. I didn't do any scripting, didn't do any coding. It was ready to go. And then actually, again, just in as quick of a time, I was managed to go and create a nice little data mart for my finance users to go and do their finance reporting upon, not having to care about all of the other data I had within my data warehouse. Again, no coding at a click of a button. We then showed that Qlik Data Catalog, again, where it was really, really easy for them business users just to go and shop for the data they were needing, they were interested in, and actually start to analyze that within their visualization tool of choice. So let's take a moment to summarize what we've seen and discussed today. Qlik Data Integration Platform provides a real-time data integration architecture that allows you to capture large volumes of change data from a variety of different source systems and gives you the ability to create data workloads and apply these in data changes in an analytical ready data format. So as we apply the data, it is easily consumed for analytics in real time to cloud platforms, and from there it can be cataloged for discovery and provisioning to BI analysts and data scientists. Customers really see the value in a fully automated solution, and the Qlik Data Integration's ability to do the data warehouse, do the data mart, and the data lake creation, they see the value in enabling the consumption layer that is seamless and requires little to no work for the BI analysts and the data scientists to get the data that they need. The Qlik Data Integration Platform allows you in a matter of hours to build a data model and create the analytical data structures. It also allows you to easily catalog, search, and retrieve all of the data in your data warehouse and data lake at scale. The last one there at cloud, customers have heterogeneous source systems and they don't want to be locked into one cloud platform. Organizations want to move on-premise custom-built apps to the cloud. They want to do this because they want that level of scalability. They want to offer more capability and provide overall a better customer experience to the end user. And it's worth mentioning there that the Qlik Data Integrated Platform is already responsible for migrating over 200,000 legacy database mainframe environments to the likes of AWS, Azure, and Google. So that will round us off for today's session. I'll quickly check the chat and the questions in a few minutes. But should you have any questions or want to go through anything in a bit more depth at a bit more of a slower speed, feel free to reach out for more information on the solutions or anything Qlik or data analytics related. As I mentioned, we are Perfect Image. We are a Qlik Elite solution provider, one of just a few within the UK. All the contact details, including my direct email, are currently on screen as well. So as I say, should you have any questions, feel free to reach out, whether it's in the event today or after. Thank you all very much for watching and joining us today. Thank you.